Welcome students. In this video, we're going to take our .stl files and put them into our 3D printing environment. We use Afinia brand 3D printers here at the high school. So on your machine that you're going to use, probably your laptop, we need to make sure that we can see this Afinia Studio icon on our desktop. Right? If it's not there, come down here where it says type to search. We're going to go to the Software Center. Mine won't show up because it's already on my desktop, but if you scroll through these icons, you should be able to find the Afinia one, and you're going to install that software first. Now, we're going to assume at this point you've got the software installed. If you don't, pause the video, but we're going to assume that it's installed. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Afinia Studio. All right, and I want to build. So over on this side of my screen, I'm going to hit the build button. And now, right now you can see up top, it says printer not connected. I don't have this hooked up to a printer yet. So this is just a generic modeling environment. Right? This represents the parameters of a 3D printer. I need my whole model to fit inside of this wireframe box when I go to set mine up to print. So if it hangs a little outside of the box right now, we're not going to be concerned. But if you're hooked up to a 3D printer and your model doesn't fit in this environment, you got to do some problem solving before you hit that print button. Getting a little ahead of myself. We don't have anything to print yet, so we're going to come over to the plus and click on Add. We want to add a 3D model from a file. So we are going to hover over here. We don't want to do a picture. We want to add a 3D model. Okay, and then this is going to open up and it says select your 3D models. Okay, so if you remember in the last video in our Google Drive, we made a file called IED. We're going to open that IED file up and we should have all of our parts here. Right? It looks like I forgot one. I've got my orange, purple, red, and yellow. Let me go back to Fusion real quick. Right? Orange, yeah, purple, red, yellow. So I must have on my teal part, right, not exported it. Right? So I'm going to real quickly go in here and I'm going to export. And I got my teal part. It's going to go to my drive. We'll go ahead and click on export. All right, and now you can see this is updated. It's got my teal part in here. And so I could put these in one at a time. I want to put all 5 in at the same, so I'm just going to hold the shift key down to select all these parts. And then I'm going to click on open. And we'll wait a minute while our computer thinks. Right, and it's going to drop all of my parts in here. So they're all dropped into this build environment. Now, with the roller ball of your mouse, you can kind of zoom in. If you hold down the left mouse button, you can roll things around. And you can see I've got an issue here. This checkerboard area, that's the bottom of my 3D printer. That represents the bottom of my 3D printer. And a lot of my parts have got gaps in between the bottom of the 3D printer and the bottom of the part. It's not the end of the world, but that's going to add to our print time. So to make this print more efficiently, what I want to do is get my projects so they can kind of support themselves. So like this project here, for instance, I think this surface would be the best surface to have touching the bottom. So to do that, I'm going to go to rotate. And then I'm going to pick this little button in the middle that says rotate face to bottom. And I'm just going to click on this part with the red. And you can see it snaps that to the bottom. I'm going to hide this button. Right? You won't have that on your screen. That's my screencasting software. And now you can see this menu. It says, is this the face you want on the bottom? If so, press confirm. And I do, so I'm going to confirm that. And then we're going to go kind of hunt out the rest of them. These pieces here are all looking good. These two on this side, though, I think we got some work to do. So I want to take this piece, and I think this area where my cursor is should be my bottom. Right? Yours may be the same. If you're modeling something up similar to mine, it may be different. So you're just going to have to kind of go through here, figure out what looks like the best bottom for each of these pieces. And then I want you to get some help. When you're done with that, I want you to show your setup to a neighbor, kind of zoom around on some things and see if they agree with you. So we're picking the best bottom to put down. All right, once that's finished, you can see some of your parts are overlapping. This thing here is called auto place. So we'll click on that and it'll move your parts around. And then the last thing we're going to do before we hook up to a 3D printer is you're going to hit these 3 lines, or I guess there's 4 lines there. It says more. Right? This is our save button. This will save our model. All right, before I hit that save though, I want to make sure I've got everything selected. So I'm going to right click over here. I'm going to go on select all, and now everything is gray. That tells me it's all selected. So I'm going to say save my model. All right, what this will do is it'll save this print setup with these 5 parts in this orientation, in this location. So should something happen while you're 3D printing, maybe the printer goofs up, maybe you forget to hit start and you come back the next day and there's no file there, you can load this back in and reprint it without going through all this work. Okay. Now, where should I save it? We're going to put that in our same Google Drive location. And this time I'm going to call it like all 5 parts, or give it another descriptive name so I know what I'm printing. You can see down here it's saving as a .up3. That's another 3D printing file that our Afinia printers are able to read, so we're going to just stick with that. So now I can click save. And it's saved these in this location. Now, if you come back to this and you're like, oh, I made an error, all right, I see an error. I've got a little air gap underneath here. I shouldn't have saved it just yet. I need to rotate one more piece. All right, I can move that piece around. I can go to auto place again. All right, I can select all, and then I can save it again if I have to. I can even save over top of that old file so I don't get confused. All right, so I'm going to go here and hit save. Yep, I want to replace it. All right, now I've got this file here that I can load onto the 3D printer eventually. All right, so, and you can see if I switch my view, I do have some space in between them. This is looking good. So that's getting the 3D printer file set up in a nutshell. At this point, you're going to talk to your instructor, and he or she will give you some direction in the classroom as far as how to get the printers themselves set up and running.